Hello, this is Katie, and this will be Valentine's treat bag number 4. So, kind of a card, but not really. So I'm going to actually I already made one, so I'm going to be showing you this with the treat bag die from Stampin' Up! And how you can make this guy right here instead of a card today. And then, but first I want to show you a few cards that I've made. So I went to my friend's Stampin' Up! Card making meetup, and we used the littler note cards to make some Valentines. And there was one I think I messed up and one I didn't finish, and it might be one and the same. So we'll take a look at those. I'll try and find the items and link them below. Like the stamp sets and the paper pads that were used. But this is the first one. You were meant to color this, all the white in here, or the heart and the dots with red, but I like the way it looked without it. So I like that one. Then there's this one with the Twitter-pated stamp. I think I'm going to get the stamp set that this is on, but I wanted to buy a woodblock version of it. So that one was really cute, and that was raised up there. And then there's this one with kind of some angled papers that are cut off on the edge. And then this one, I actually kind of liked what happened. I couldn't find a block, so I just kind of used the markers so that, because it's all one stamp, so I used a marker on the back of the stamp for the black, then I colored the heart. So then it was a cling stamp, so I pushed it down and I picked it up and it was fine, but then I dropped it, so it kind of scattered. But I don't know, it looks kind of cool. But I thought that one was kind of cute. And then this one, which also uses the stamp from this card, but you just cut a smaller circle of it and stamp it in red. So that's raised up, and it has the big ampersand and a couple of the clear epoxy stickers. You can also color these with your Stampin' Up! Markers. If you want them to be a color, you would color them on the sheet before you pick them up and stick them down too. Then there's this one, and I actually stuck down the main piece to the red base. It was really a white base, but it's got a red cardstock on the front, the same size as the card. And I mounted this down before I did the ribbon tucked behind, so I had to peel it up, and you can see that it's pretty crinkly because of that, so that one doesn't look very good. Then there's this one. It's kind of cool, just some random paper layers, and that's one of the stamps in that set that I want. And then this one I didn't finish because I couldn't decide if I wanted to put my own stamp on this strip, which is going to come out, I can't remember where it was supposed to go, but I got some glue on the top portion here, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually finish this one or not, so I left that blank. But that was the Valentine's class. I thought those were designs that she came up with were pretty cute. And then tonight I took my friend to another meetup I just found on meetup.com for cards, and we made these ones. Very simple, cute Stampin' Up! Styles with some stamp sets, so this was one of them. And this green paper is shiny, so it was pretty hard to get that stamp not to smear. So that was the first one. She didn't have a scoreboard for some reason, so when you fold them, they didn't come pre-folded, so when you fold them, it gets pretty crinkly. This is the reason I bought a scoreboard, to score it, to give it a line to fold on, or else it ends up looking pretty gross, like an elbow crease or something on the inside. Then there was this one, and it has the torn corner, and I raised the bird up there. And then her sample actually had no sentiment at all, but I thought she had a set that also had this, so I thought that looked kind of cute in the corner to make it some sort of card. And then this I think was my favorite one. We stamped the larger stamp and then cut out the die, then put the ribbon, one strip of ribbon, and it was only really this much longer on both sides. You just put some adhesive on the back, put the strip, and just kind of connect them in the back. So you don't have to have ribbon all the way around this piece. You just put one one along and just kind of tuck them in the back. And then this was a separate piece of ribbon the same length that we just tied into a bow and then stuck down with an enamel dot. So this is two separate pieces of ribbon that was not tied that nicely from this ribbon. So that's so you can make that look a little neater. And then this was a stamp and then a punch, and just pretty simple, but I thought that one was pretty cute. So those are the three that I went and made tonight. And so now I want to show you the treat bag. So the die, this is the die that I showed you in the Stampin' Up! Haul, the mini treat bag Thinlits dies, the one that actually comes with all those other pieces too. And I actually had to email them today because one part on here, I think it might be over here or here, doesn't cut through the paper. So there's something wrong with the die, but it's along a line that I can cut with scissors, so it's not that big of a deal. I can always fix it. So if I don't move or shuffle the camera, we'll get the big shot out here. I'm gonna fix the zoom and just make sure I'm out a little bit. Okay. And then I'll need to trim this down. I'm just going to trim it down to the size of the die. This die is as wide as the platform, so that's probably the widest they can go with their dies. They could always make it longer. There's also longer cutting pads for longer dies. I don't know if Stampin' Up! Has any of those longer dies. I know that they exist, and there are longer pads to accommodate it. And then this one, I'll just cut something to that size so we can push that through. Okay, so I'm going to cut the first one. I think the defect is on this piece. I should put it between my plastic pieces there. So that should be good. Don't know what I was doing there. There we go. Sorry, that might have shake it up a little bit. Very interesting. Okay. Okay, so I think it's the other piece because this one came through just fine with the folds in it. So it also puts some scoring into it as well. So it might be on this piece that I need to fix. And if not, then maybe it fixed itself. So we'll find out. So I'll run this one through. It's awfully loud. Okay. Okay, I'm going to be die cutting another piece too, so I'll leave that there. Huh. I'm not sure where that was then, that I needed to cut it off. Maybe it was just, didn't do it right the first time. Okay, so we've got the two pieces for the treat bag. I'll show you how to assemble that. I also, for the hearts that you saw on the front of the sample, I'm going to die cut the heart strip out of magenta for the hearts there. I'm going to cut the For You out of red, and then I have a little Inker Designs stitched matte circle for that one. That I'll do all while I have the die cutter open. So we've got the heart strip. I'll just pre-cut a piece here for those. And how these are cut out actually end up looking really cute. And I'll see if I can zoom in on the sample. But I just like how the die does it. Because, oops, I didn't move too much. They get stuck in there, but then they pop out really easily, and they almost look a little, I mean they are, a little 3D. You can see the back looks like that, and then the front of it almost pops up a little. I wonder if that'll zoom or focus, sorry. Maybe not. So on this sample, see if I can zoom in a little bit. they end up looking a little more 3D, like they're popping up. I can't get this thing to focus. Okay. So we'll set some of these hearts aside. I'll use about 4 of them. And then the For You sentiment will be cut out in the red. I think actually the thicker red cardstock is the one that worked a little better. I don't think this worked very well with the thin cardstock. That's what the back of that one looks like. I'm not sure. Let's try this one. Okay, that one should be fine. You can always poke any of these out with a pair of tweezers. Alright. Okay. So I'll set that aside. Get the crumbs off there. And then I'll do the circle. So I'm going to do it again out of the, I think I used just plain white on the sample, but I'll do it out of the rustic white from Paper Tray Ink, the one that looks kind of recycled. And then we'll use the Little Inker Designs, and I'm pretty sure it was this 3rd size here. So it'll fit the For You in the middle. So I'll put that one through, and then we'll be done with the die cutting portion, and I can put this away. Okay, so set that over there. Get the circle out. Okay. So with this one for the For You, there's some of the pieces, or I guess the remnants that you want to scrape off that the die cut didn't quite get. I don't like this one, this die for the For You a lot. It also shows the dots that it has on there for releasing the die. So like the air can get through, for example. But it shows up on the letter. Hoping this will focus. So like the bottom of the Y has bumps. The top of the R has a bump. So it just doesn't make it look very good, I think. So Stampin' Up! Has some work to do on their die manufacturing, but we'll go ahead and stick this down to this, and I'm going to use the Tombow Mono Multi Glue. For the assembling, I'll bring this in a little closer. So I'll get that in there, and just want to make sure there's not too much adhesive. I usually put a drop and then kind of spread it around, just so none of it kind of sneaks out. This glue should dry with a matte finish instead of shiny, so it's not so visible, but I just don't think it does that. I think I've had it dry and still showing once, so I'm just careful about any of the glue seeping out. So I just use just enough to get it pinned down, and you can always still scrape some of the extra pieces off after you've put it down too. You just don't want to put scrapes in the paper. So you have to, if you want to clean that up after the fact, it's usually not an issue. Okay. Alright. So I'll leave that part. Then we'll go ahead and put together the treat bag. So the first thing, we'll set these two aside. The first thing you want to do is make sure it's folded where it's supposed to be. And the picture on the back actually shows you. So based on that picture, I have this part, and I have, that's so funny, the heart outline, this part here. So these two pieces are those two, and then you piece them together and then you fold up the bottom. So here's a fold here. So I'm going to fold this, and then you want to have a bone folder handy to keep that straight. And then there's two folds here, so we'll fold this in. And then fold the bottom up. Okay. So then we want to put this right here, so I'm going to run my adhesive runner down that side. And I'll do this from the back just so I can make sure it lines up with the corners. Just makes this a lot easier. Pinch it at these ends, and then you can run your fingers along the middle to make sure it's down. Then we'll be putting these down first, and then we'll be folding the bottom up. So because this is going to flap over this way, I'm just going to run some adhesive right here. And it's going to cover up all the way down. So from top to bottom is fine. And then we'll run adhesive along this bottom flap and fold that up. And you can use your bone folder to kind of seal that. Okay, so then you've got the treat bag. When it is cardstock, it's a little thicker. You could definitely, you could do this out of vellum if you want it to be thin and see-through. You could do it with thinner cardstock if you want it to be a little more flexible. But this is pretty strong cardstock. It's the Craft from Paper Tray Ink, so it's going to be a little tougher. So then we want to put that band around it. So I just want to center it, and I'm actually just going to fold it over the edge. I don't need to do any scoring. Just hold it down and just kind of create that band. Then we can run adhesive all along it. Okay, and then put that in the middle. Make sure that's straight. Wrap one of them around the back, and then just make sure that one has adhesive right on the end. Line it up and fold it over. So then you've got your band on there. Then we'll go ahead and put the For You on, and on the sample I lifted that up with some foam tape. So I'll go ahead and use the foam tape on the back of that. That one was a little long. Okay, and then the bottom one doesn't need to be that long. Okay, so I've got enough to support that, so we'll go ahead and put that in the middle. And then I'll pick 4 of the hearts here. And also use the Tombow Mono with the tweezers. So we'll pick up a heart, make sure all the sticky bits are off. And then you could almost just do the dabs directly on. If it'll open. There. Oops, that's why you don't do that. Okay, pick up that chunk of glue. Maybe pick all of it up. How about that? Okay. So I'll put a dab down, one here and one here. We'll put a heart there. Make sure that's straight. And then put one of the hearts there. And then another one up high and another one down low. Put one down there. You could also do sequins or other embellishments, enamel dots. Put some enamel dots by the words if you want. But I think this looks good with these 4 hearts here. Okay. So then you have your treat bag there. You could slide maybe like a pack of something, like a pack of M&Ms or a pack of Skittles, either like small size or regular size would probably be sticking out the top there. So that is the treat bag die, and this is the other one that I made. It's pretty much the same. And that is it. So next time it will be Valentine's card number 5. It'll be a card. And thank you for watching. Bye.